I was here in the morning around 10:30, and all my daughters and I just heard a lot of shots fired, and we got pretty scared.
We begin with breaking news and a deputy shot in Washington County. It happened this morning while they were serving an eviction notice. The suspected shooter is dead, the deputy in critical condition. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. This all unfolded this morning at an apartment complex in Tualatin. We have full team coverage this evening for you. Mike Benner's outside Legacy Emanuel in Portland, where doctors are working to save the injured deputy. But let's start with Joe Ranieri in Tualatin with a breakdown of how it all happened. Joe?
Hey, good evening to you, Laurel. Now, this section of Nyberg Street is now open, but it was shut down a good part of the day after deputies arrived at this apartment complex behind me to evict a resident here. Well, a short time later, some altercation took place in one of the apartments behind me, and that's when the shooting happened. Law enforcement swarmed the Forest Rim Apartments in Tualatin on Wednesday morning after a suspect shot a Washington County Sheriff deputy who was serving an eviction notice.
Copy, suspect still firing rounds. Deputy is trapped on the porch.
Jonathan Sy was across the street when he saw police cruiser after cruiser rush up.
And all of a sudden I just saw a bunch of cop cars just coming by. Saw a bunch of lights flickering, so I wasn't sure what was going on. I was going to try to leave, but it looks like traffic started to build up and just more cop cars just started showing up here.
Deputies arrived at the apartment complex shortly after 9:30 a.m. to evict a resident. Almost an hour later, there was some kind of altercation inside the apartment. That's when the suspect fired and struck a deputy. That deputy was flown by helicopter to a trauma center in Portland for treatment. Sarah Trujillo, who lives at the apartment, was just about to leave for the day when the shooting happened.
So I was here in the morning around 10:30, and all my daughters and I just heard a lot of shots fired, and we got pretty scared because, well, first of all, I was on my way out to go to an appointment.
The apartment complex was in lockdown, and many residents watched this scene unfold from across the street. The suspect was barricaded in the apartment until around 1 p.m. when the SWAT team went in and found him dead. Now, Laurel, there's one thing we're still waiting to find out tonight, and that is if the deputy involved who exchanged fire with the suspect, if those bullets killed the suspect or if the suspect took his own life inside the apartment earlier today. Reporting live in Tualatin tonight, Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
What a terrible ordeal. Thank you, Joe. Continuing our coverage now, Mike Benner joins us outside Legacy Emanuel Hospital in North Portland. Mike, so many people are concerned and pulling for this deputy. How is he doing?
Yeah, Laurel, I can tell you that the deputy, who is not being identified publicly, is in critical condition. His family is at his side, as well as colleagues from the Washington County Sheriff's Office. They, of course, rushed to the hospital right after the deputy got here. The injured deputy, we know, was airlifted here from Tualatin. He was taken to Legacy Emanuel because it is one of the 2 level 1 trauma centers in Portland. That means it's a hospital capable of caring for someone with serious injuries like the gunshot wounds this deputy suffered. Again, we're told he was shot multiple times while serving that eviction notice. This afternoon, Washington County Sheriff Pat Garrett briefed reporters. He said he knows the injured deputy personally. Listen.
He is an incredible person. He is a complete professional. He is compassionate. He's also resilient and tenacious. This tragedy reminds us today that police work can be very dangerous.
Yeah, no question about it. The sheriff went on to thank the staff here at the hospital for providing such great care to the deputy. The sheriff is also thanking all of the partnering agencies that really stepped up to help during what was a fluid situation for several hours. Laurel?
Well, the deputy, his family, friends, colleagues are all in our thoughts and prayers this evening. Thank you, Mike. Stay with us as we continue to cover this breaking news story. You can find updates on KGW.com, the KGW mobile app, and on our social media channels. We'll also have another report coming up in our 6 o'clock hour. Developing this evening, Highway 26 just reopened after a significant crash shut it down for hours today. The crash happened near Elsie, about halfway between the Portland metro area and the junction with Highway 101. People expected delays in the area, even though that highway is back open now. No word yet if anyone was hurt in the crash or what caused it. Now to Portland's gun violence and a man accused of robbing a bar, taking a woman hostage, and shooting at police. This happened early this morning in Northeast Portland. The suspect has died, and he's also accused of sexually assaulting the kidnapped woman. It was just after 12:30 this morning at the Players Pub PDX along Northeast 82nd near Fremont when police say a man walked into the bar and robbed the place. He then took a woman hostage and stole her car. Police say the man drove around with the woman inside her own car for about 2 hours when he stopped briefly in Gresham. She saw a chance to escape and managed to call 911.
So there was a 2-hour gap where officers were out searching for this suspect vehicle and this hostage, looking for this woman.
Police spotted the vehicle about a half hour later and chased it to the intersection of Northeast Sandy and 141st Street. Officers say the suspect fired shots back at them as he ran. Eventually, they found him lying on the ground with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The kidnapped and sexually assaulted woman went to the hospital to be checked out. No officers were hurt. A family in Clark County is searching for answers 2 months after their son was shot and killed. As police investigate, there's not a lot of information about Randy West's murder. On May 27th, Vancouver police found the 58-year-old dead in his garage. This is on Northeast 137th Avenue. The medical examiner ruled he'd been shot multiple times. Investigators haven't released a motive, although his family has its suspicions.
The word we get, they were trying to steal money from him.
It's not worth a life for a few $1,000s that he had.
It's been pretty rough on us. We're both still pretty active with our businesses. So during the day, we seem to do fairly well. But when it comes nightfall, it's just not any fun at all to have this in your family. It's just awful.
It's with you all day and all night. It doesn't go away.
I can't even imagine. To try to get a break in this case, the West family is offering a $15,000 reward in addition to the $2,500 from Crime Stoppers. They're hoping someone steps forward with information leading to an arrest. Contact Vancouver Police if you know something. Some homeless people living in a large camp in Portland's Old Town are threatening those who live nearby. It's becoming a safety issue, especially for people with mobility disabilities who fight to pass by it every day. Let's bring in Blair Best now. Blair, the city is now required to prioritize removing these types of camps.
Laurel, last year the city was sued by a group of Portlanders with mobility disabilities, claiming that tents blocking city sidewalks make it impossible for them to safely get around. Well, earlier this month, the city agreed to a settlement requiring them to prioritize removing those camps. In the past 2 months, the city has removed roughly 400 campsites that block city sidewalks. Though after being reported hundreds of times, some large encampments in Old Town remain and are making neighbors feel unsafe, including those with mobility disabilities.
It's aggravating to me because I like it when they're not there, because I have an easier way of getting by.
I don't know what the city's waiting for. I don't know if they're waiting for one of us to get hurt.
While the city is increasing camp removals, the mayor's office says they can't stop people from setting up their tents on sidewalks unless they put up barriers, which would also block ADA access. The city is opening large sanctioned sites to give homeless people more options for housing. Laurel.